Hello, my friends. Happy New Year and welcome to episode 183 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
We met our next guest on KISS Cruise 11, and of course, with the craziness that defines a KISS cruise, we really didn't get a chance to get to know him. I mean, at one point during the Dueling Pianos event, he went on stage and sang a song. And I remember Claudio and I looking at each other saying, "What? He sings?" Since then, we vowed to have him on the show. And now, 2 years later, it is our pleasure and honor to introduce to you our friend, Anthony Lane. Anthony, welcome to the show and Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you. Happy New Year's. Thank you, gentlemen. It's great to see you guys again.
This is awesome.
So nice to see you, man. So we couldn't wait to get this episode running. So how have you been? All good?
I've been really good. Business is good. The band is good. Playing and working. I'm lucky. I enjoy life.
There you go.
Good.
You can tell, man. You can tell. That's great. So Pasc was mentioning in the intro. So looking back now, over 2 years later. So can you give us a little summary of your KISS Cruise experience?
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you. So I went on 10 and 11. And the experience was unbelievable. I heard about it, and my good friend Angel would tell me about it, and she talked me into it. Actually, I got her the cruise the first year, and then she talked me into going. The experience was unbelievable for a lot of reasons. One, you don't really think that you're going to get that up and close and intimate with KISS. I mean, we didn't really get to meet them. We met something. I mean, I know we met a little bit, but the way you get on the boat, and I remember my first experience. So on 10, they were giving those little shots away, and I did mine, and everybody's, "Oh, no, wait." I'm like, "Wait for what? You'll see." And they're saying, "You'll see." So then they come out on stage, of course, without the makeup, and that was the first time I actually seen them like that. And you don't realize you're leaving the port and they're just jamming. And of course, before they start to do the shot with you and then take the picture. And, one thing I've learned from the KISS cruise and just being a KISS fan, I've never seen a band treat their people so amazing. And they really do. There's not a lot of bands. A lot of the old school bands did that, like with the Foreigner and the Styx. I was into that. But KISS is they really go over and above to do that. And I really felt that on the cruise, and that meant a lot to me.
So Anthony, how did you discover KISS and what actually drew you to their music?
So I'm a little older than you think. So, it's funny. I grew up in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And in our neighborhood, it was really bizarre. Because we had Gordy Lewis, who we went to school with the Lewises, so that was Teenage Head, and they were just forming. We had Mike Garlecki from the Forgotten Rebels. Do you remember any of these bands, Pasquale?
No.
If you Google them, they were all big bands, and they were punk rock, and they were really a replica of what was happening in the United States.
Okay.
Teenage had a really big hit at the time. I myself was into Cheap Trick, Styx, as you could see, because I sang "Come Sail Away," Foreigner, Queen, and then in our same neighborhood, there was a band. So like you're talking, we're all in a 15-block radius, Honeymoon Suite. We all hung out together, having coffee. Alfie Zappacosta. You probably never heard of it. Have you ever heard of Alfie Zappacosta?
No.
Oh my. So Alfie hung out with us too. He's a millionaire now. He wrote a lot of music. He was an Italian guy, and he made his money because one of the songs, his manager got one of his songs on the B side of the Dirty Dancing album, and his first royalty check was like $600,000 back.
Wow.
So we all kind of grew up together. So I'm getting to the point. There was three brothers, Jerry, John, and Joe Rogers, and they dressed and played only KISS. They dressed to school like that. They dressed in the neighborhood like that. They all looked like KISS. And that was my very first, before KISS even started coming out, these guys were playing in the neighborhood at these little clubs and call it like little, punk places. And they were playing KISS. And
Okay.
that is my true first experience with KISS music. And then I'm like, who are these guys? And then I started following them because it was such, because back then, guys, you're talking punk, you're talking rock, you're talking a lot of music styles that were blending together in the late 70s. And we just started working in the recording studio with Danny Lenoir, actually at Grand Avenue Studio in Hamilton. I was 13 and I started at a young age. So it was a great experience to be following all those sounds, and KISS was one of them. And then here it is. Imagine all these years later, I get to
Oh,
go on a cruise and see the band that these kids, and before them, I didn't really even hear the band because it was like 74, 75. So it's kind of crazy, huh?
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It is indeed. And Anthony, outside of Kiss, so you mentioned some other bands, but what were your musical tastes growing up? So what were you into?
I really liked Styx. I liked
Okay.
Queen. I liked Foreigner. Um, I mean, you can't get a better singer than Freddie Mercury. I mean, in my eyes, you just can't. So that was a person I looked up to. And then as I got better on the guitar, because I was pretty terrible on guitar in my early years, and then I started looking more into Carlos Santana as a guitar player. But that pretty much was the bands that I would follow in my 13, and Pink Floyd, of course. So from 13 to 16, 17, they were my influences.
Okay. Okay. So just for a sec, let us kind of fast forward now in time, and about a year ago, we had the last two shows at Madison Square Garden in New York. So, what were your impressions of those two shows?
Well, I kind of really wish I could have went. I mean, unfortunately, when you own businesses, you can't. But I
Hmm.
was so happy that Angel could go. She's my
Hmm.
dear friend. And so I kind of lived through her eyes because I got the pictures and I got the video sent to me. But you know, being a musician all these years and touring for many years, I toured in Canada for 14 years. So I look at it a little differently than most people because I can just imagine what they felt like on that stage, knowing that this is the last two shows. It would be, I don't even know how they could sing because I'd probably be crying through the whole performance. So the feeling, did you guys go?
Oh yeah,
Yes, we did. We were
yeah,
there. Yeah.
And an incredible feeling
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
because they're feeling emotions that you guys are probably feeling because you're thinking, God, we're not going to see him again.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're thinking, I know we're going to do some stuff with Gene and Paul. They're going to do, but to come together as a band, if they're really going to disband, not because they don't like each other, but because it's the end of the road, so to speak. That would be hard, guys.
Yeah.
Just imagine what you guys felt in that arena, and I kind of wish I was there to feel that.
Yeah.
I probably would have cried, Pascali, to be honest with
We were all
you.
there.
Well, how were they? You guys tell me. Angel told me a lot. I mean, how were you guys? Tell me, how was it? What was the feeling like?
You go first, Pasc.
Listen, what was fantastic about those 2 nights, those 2 days, was that KISS took over New York. It was an amazing fan experience. It was a New York KISS scavenger hunt. Going to the pub house, going to find the metro ticket, going to find the pizza box, the swatch, everything. Going around town, seeing KISS fans everywhere. New York belonged to us. So and the after parties, the pre parties, and it was such an amazing experience that basically culminated in the final shows at the show. But to me, it was a letdown because it was the exact same shows. There was nothing emotional about it. There was nothing new or different about it. They weren't paying homage to the rest of the people that got them on that stage for 50 years. And I was really disappointed. We did an episode coming back from New York. We were 3 hours basically talking about this on the show. Claude and I were in the car, like we were angry. About how it ended. But that just goes to show, and I've said it 1,000 times, for years now, it hasn't been about KISS. It's been about the fan
Yeah.
experience. And to me, That's what I'm going to miss more than seeing KISS perform live again. It's those interactions with fans, the expos, the cruises. That's what I'm gonna miss the most.
Yeah. I'm Anthony, I'm 100% with what Paz just said. I felt the same. Not because we had huge expectations. We were not waiting for Ace or Peter to get on stage, but at least a little bit more of emotion. You know what I mean? So I hear what you're saying. Maybe it was shocking for them too, to be on stage for the very last time. But it was like another show of the tour. We didn't feel it was the final show. But now, after a year, great memories of going with Paz, to New York. We've spent time with Angel and some other friends. That was, to me, that was the cherry on the pie. The show, yeah, of course, we're going to have it maybe on video, and we're going to watch it once a while, whatever, but nothing so special. I think what made it really, really special is trying to, basically getting together with friends, and gonna be nice, man, if you were there, but we're gonna have the chance to meet you again. So,
well, okay, so now you guys telling me that, it's a little disheartening. It's a little disheartening because, so for two reasons. One, maybe their intentions aren't to end. That's a question that will be answered in a few years if they get together or not. But I mean, if that ever happened, like, I would be pretty sad. It would be a totally different show for me if I did something like that, knowing that I wasn't going to do it with the same guys ever again.
Yeah.
So that's a little disheartening, you guys telling me that.
Yeah.
But on the same note, though, what you guys said was correct, is when you go back to the KISS Cruise experience, I've never met such amazing people. Now, you guys have to understand, I've owned an event center and a nightclub now, for 35 years. And I toured for 14 in Canada. And the experiences in Canada were great. I mean, Canadians are really different than Americans. I'm not going to lie. It is. For me, back then, it was different. But the experience on a KISS cruise, like, look, meeting you guys, getting to know everybody. You guys know, it was like everybody was a friend on that ship. Everybody, like, instantly, from the moment that you walk on deck at the beginning with the concert when they have no makeup. I mean, the feeling up there on the deck is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we made so many friends, and you're hanging out with so many people, but everybody was so courteous and respectful to one another. And that's one thing that KISS fans have over really any other group that I've seen or went to go see, is how courteous and how wonderful KISS fans are to each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that all the time.
But Anthony, we asked you that question because Amber Wild, as you know, opened for 2 nights, and you got to work with them. So they performed at the Fox Theater in November. So first, tell us about the Fox Theater and your involvement exactly.
The Fox Theater, I had a nightclub in Monterey, California for 25 years. It was a comedy and dance club. And when my lease ran out, I started looking for another place, and I wanted to get into more of an event thing over a nightclub. I was kind of getting tired of that. And the Fox Theater in Salinas came available, and I bought it, put everything into it, and we made it into an event center that does concerts, all kinds, music, comedy, the whole thing. And then we also do weddings and quinceañeras and events and special events. And so, so I've built that business now, for 18 years. It was built the theater was built in 1920.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Now, Anthony, before we continue, we have a special guest tonight that would like to say hello.
Okay.
Wait,
There you
how about
go.
that?
There you go.
I don't hear you.
It's like
An echo.
we're in the same office. Hey, I should get a brownie point or 2 for keeping it a secret. Twice.
True. Good one.
Anthony, did you know?
Well, no. So no wonder you're staying in the office. Oh, no wonder.
Yeah, I'm usually here at this time, but I just moved, and it was the roughest move ever. I lost all my clothes. I have no clothes.
Oh boy.
Really?
I know. It's strange, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll find them.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Good to
So
see you.
nice to see you.
But Charlie, I thought she was lying to me trying to get out of work today, but I guess it was true. She didn't have any clothes.
It's weird that the one vest you're talking about, Amber Wild, the one vest I have the little pin that Evan gave me on the way out.
Oh,
My little
nice.
Amber Wild pin. Yeah.
Nice.
Back to business.
No, that's exactly what I want to talk about, because Amber Wild, for example, had a meet and greet at the Monterey Music Store on November 7th.
Yes.
So, Angel, we'll start with you. Tell us about that event.
It was nice to gather up the guys and drive out to Monterey, because we're a little bit inland, and Monterey is a little bit more touristy, Fisherman's Wharf and Carmel and all that stuff. So it was nice where we parked, because Evan had made a comment like, wow, this is kind of like the place where you would retire, because it's so quaint and pretty, and coming from a kid that's probably been a lot of places around the world and stuff, because he said it's kind of like Santa Barbara, which is out here on the coast, but it's real snooty and busy, and Monterey's just small and quaint. So, and as was the Monterey Music Store. So Anthony's dear friend John Prock owns the store. And not a whole lot of people, I won't exaggerate, showed up. The ones that did fell in love with the guys. There are 2 new members in the band, but they fell in love with the guys. And the guys were just so into the guitars and the equipment and the amps that the owner had within the store. But the people that we did meet, they did come to the concert, and we made it an all-age show. Our goal was to have a 21 plus show here in Salinas and an all-age show up in Pittsburgh. But there was some little kids that they just were walking in. You're famous, right? You're famous. It was very, very cute. But like I said, Monterey also is a very quaint little town. It's not bustling and stuff. So the show wasn't heavily attended, but the people that were here were absolutely blown away. So yeah. So it was great, though. It was great to walk them around Monterey and down the main drag. And you could tell they weren't from here, put it that way, when they're walking down the street, because Evan is committed to all that jewelry all day, every day, rehearsal, breakfast, he's got it on. So you could just say they're not from here. But it was a nice experience. It was. And the owner of the store was just blown away. And of course, him and his friends were all at the show as well.
Fantastic. Anthony, what about your experience?
It was really cool. I'll tell you why. Because Angel, it's funny, because Angel was talking to all these people that were there. There was about 8, 9 people, and then the kids. And John used to play. He took over for my bass player for a few years, and great bass player, nice guy. And but he played with a lot of big bands like Journey and some, like, he would fill in. And it was so funny because he's been in the business of selling instruments all his life. And he was telling Evan, it was the coolest thing. And then when someone really knows. So he's telling Evan about when he first got this guitar for Gene and all these things for Gene and some stuff for Paul. And Evan's like, really? Really? And then sharing all these stories. And then the new drummer, what was his name, Angel?
Kyle.
So the new drummer used to play with, not used to, he played with all these other different bands, and John played with some of them. And now they're sharing stories. And he's like, oh, so you're the drummer that did. He goes, I was talking to so-and-so 2 weeks ago. And he goes, you're the drummer.
They knew so many people in common, truly.
So for me, it was really good because I love when us in the music business get to know one another and start to share stories and actually know people that we really, know. And then I was sharing some stuff with them. Like when I first came over from Canada in 1989. And then Evan's like, you're kidding me. I says, yeah, here, let me get my phone. So when we were produced by Orange Productions, and I just went blank on his name, and he produced Paula Abdul and Milli Vanilli.
Oh, okay.
And he worked on our music, and he brought in 2 extra musicians to help, not to help us, but we added 2 musicians to the band for our showcases for the record labels. And one of the keyboard player was Alex Alessandroni. And at that time, Alex was the keyboard player for Bobby Brown. So
And who is Alex now? Tell him he is the keyboard player for Soul Station.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So I said,
story.
True story. So I'm watching this show. So Angel goes, "Oh, you got to see this new band, the new band that Paul's in, blah, blah, blah." And I'm looking, I says, "Oh my God, Alex." Then I get on the phone. So he's now the music producer and arranger and everything for
Soul Station.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had pictures of him with Anthony and his band and his brother back in the 80s where they had a little bit of makeup on. And so did Alex. And Evan was dying laughing, like, "Oh, you got to send me that. I got to show Alex." Because he had eyeliner and rouge, a little blush on. So, that was fun. That was fun. Because Evan, honestly, what a nice kid. You can't meet a nicer guy. So grateful, so thankful. And yeah, you got to tell his parents they did good because he was such a respectful young man through the whole thing, they were here for a week. A week.
Wow, for a week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pasquale, oh my God, again, you don't know much about me either, but I'm a musician. When we toured, we practiced. They were here for 4 or 5 days. I gave them the theater to practice and get things together and stuff. But man, it just felt so good. And I recorded them and it felt so good. You got to see these guys. I'm talking, they would practice from 4 to 10 at night. They would go back and they would come back and they would pick up and they worked on the vocals, the harmonies, the guitar lines, the guitar parts, like every part. I don't see bands don't do that today.
Right.
So that's why they're so tight. And they had to get the 2 new guys. So they have Jack, which is the new bass player, and then Kyle, who's from London, right, Anthony? From the UK? Anyways, but he is the new drummer. And
solid.
Man, they were solid. I mean, by the time, I think that's why these dates were so important to them, because they had 2 sold out dates at the Viper Room as soon as they went back to LA. And I think they really needed to get these guys on board, knowing all the harmonies, all the parts, because they were tight on stage. Didn't miss a beat. There was none of that looking at each other like, do we stop? Do we go? They were just on point. So they're so talented. All of them are so talented. And Marshall, I got to mention Marshall, who's the original guitar player alongside Evan.
They have some really good new songs, like really good.
We got to hear a lot of them. Oh yeah,
songs. And they were in my head for like weeks after they left. And to see them writing together and see them throwing parts, and then even the drummer, throwing some harmonies out there and some of the 3-part harmonies. And I got to hear it down here in the studio because I had a sound guy upstairs mixing them and I was mixing them down here so I can record them. So to isolate and listen to some of this stuff, they're great. They're really good. And then the crowds weren't big, but the way they treated their crowds, that people fell in love with them in the first song.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you both, Anthony and Angel. So at the show, November the 8th at the theater, how did that go? How was the show? So were people really into it? People kind of hooked up to the tunes right away?
They did. I think we had a local college band open, and they created this amazing energy. And it wasn't like they were like these high caliber bands, but they just had a good energy and a good rapport with the kids and the people that were here. And then, never heard the band before. They were okay. But the middle band, they were just a little bit more low energy. And it was just really, Evan and the guys had to hit the stage really hard to get the audience's attention back. And so, there was a little over 100 people here for that show. And they won every single one of them over. Wow. Breakout is such a...
In like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
20 seconds. I was blown away. And they came Because, you're thinking, this is what you're thinking, and I'm thinking what the people are thinking. They're thinking, are these going to be LA guys who think they're all great and blah, blah, blah? They come out and then, of course, Evan is just the sweetest guy. And they played the song. And just the way he was talking to the people and let's rock and blah, 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 in the first opening of the song, that was it. The connection was there.
Was straight.
Just that was
Yeah.
it. Nobody left.
No,
Nobody went anywhere.
nobody left. They all stayed at the end for merch and meet and greet, and they met every single person that was here, like they knew them, like amazing. All four of them did, and it was a really nice experience for the people that we invited, or John from the music store. That they didn't just, it's a small crowd, let's just go out the back door and call it a night. They met every single person that was here. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. Like I said, it wasn't highly attended, but I think they definitely left their mark on those people, because one guy won tickets from a Halloween thing that we had here. He goes, man, I won a table of 4 and it's just me and my buddy. If they would have known it was like this, I would have had people. So if and when they ever come back, I think they would be a much bigger draw because people would know what to expect.
Of course,
They left a great impression. Very.
Yeah.
Nice. Angel, so you said, and Anthony, you said that the guys being with you for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, almost a week there. So, and given your experience working with so many artists, so how was it working with these guys, with Amber Wild? So what was the, from what you're saying, the experience was great. You're talking about the show, you're talking about the meet and greet, but overall, so what was it like working with them?
Well, for me, we got to have dinner, breakfast, and I want to try, you're just so busy. I wanted to kind of have them over in my house and cook and stuff, but we just got so busy, and they really did practice a lot. But I'm going to tell you, I've never met 4 wonderful gentlemen, very respectful. When we went to the wharf on I don't know what night, after the music store, we went to the wharf. We took them on the wharf for dinner, and very respectful. They were very thankful.
They all whipped out their wallets to help pay. And Anthony's like, no, I got it. I mean, they were just that sweet.
Wow.
They didn't expect anything. And the crazy thing is, I don't think we mentioned, we were filming a documentary while all of this was happening.
Oh, wow.
So the live recording from the stage that Anthony's mixing is going to be a part of the documentary. And someone stayed in the house with them that they rented and followed them around all the way through the end of the Selena show. They didn't go up to Pittsburgh and film up there. So the outcome of that is kind of up in the air right now. Evan's really into it and seeing what it's very raw. Like they're in the house with it's crazy. So we really want to see what it's going to be like. So the gentleman, his name is Micah Stamps, who filmed the majority of this. Anthony and Micah will be getting together after the new year to kind of see some of the footage and the kind of the route that Micah's going with this, because he wants to, he's very big in cinematography around the area, have a big film festival here at the Fox and bring the guys back to watch the documentary and kind of sit on a question and answer panel. Because when they were here, it was during the elections and also big fires all over LA, and just kind of to see where their heads were at that moment. So I guess Marshall Villa, the lead guitar player, his house was very, very close to getting burned down. And Micah told me there's some really interesting, just really raw footage of the guys and how much they care about each other and calling back home, and how much all the time up here rehearsing and getting the band, to be a cohesive team was important to them. So I'm really anxious to see, because of course I wasn't at the house, or anything like that. And it was a young man close to their age. So I think it could be pretty interesting when we have the actual screening of and Evan has final say on everything. And he's waiting on pins and needles after the holidays to kind of, maybe do something similar to this and watch some of the footage separately and then collaborate on what they feel they want in this documentary. So I thought that was pretty cool too. So we didn't even mention that there was a documentary being filmed the entire time they were here. And they followed us to the music store, to the restaurant.
Everywhere.
That's great.
Yeah,
cool.
they were everywhere.
Very cool.
Yeah, should be cool.
So, Angel, first of all, it's been great to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the time to come back on our show. It's incredible. Thank you.
Third time.
Third time. You're part of the family. You're part of the family. So,
And I'll go soon. I promise. I won't bore you guys.
no, but so Angel, before we let you go, this episode is a fan profile on Anthony. So, what would you like to say about Anthony?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll make it as short as I can. Anthony is my best friend in life. I didn't meet him till later in life, but it doesn't matter when I would have met him because he would be my best friend. Don't make me cry.
You're already crying. I love it.
We're both married. We have wonderful families and lives, but Anthony is my family. And my family, including my husband, views him as that. Anthony is not my boss. Anthony is not my partner in business. He is not that. That's way at the bottom because he is truly family at top. Yeah. We had the share of, when I met him, we shared the love of music. We were very young in our 20s. And I got a part-time job working for him at the front door of his club to make ends meet because I was going through a bad divorce, okay? And I was so naive. I didn't know people were hitting on me or anything. And he said, you know what? You truly need a friend. And he became that friend. And he started telling people I was his sister because his real life sister's name is Angela. And so it just to protect me from, working the front door at a club, never been out in my life, never drank a drink in my life. And he's like, you didn't realize that man was hitting on you or kind of being a little icky? And I'm like, no. He's like, God, you really need a friend. And he's been looking out for me ever since. And so I look out for him in return. There's nothing that can break the bond that we have. And he makes work fun, and we work hard, you guys. We work hard. But when your bosses, and we work alongside our employees, when your boss works hard as, if not harder, most of the time harder, he's the hardest working person I know. Wow. He deserves all the happiness this crazy world can bring him because we're in a weird business and we're getting older and we look at each other. We're like, how much longer do we want to do this? But then we get these weird moments of, well, what else would we do? Right. So
as long as it's
regardless
fun,
what our future plans are, if it's outside of the Fox Theater or whatever, we just know. And he'll ask me, are you worried or are you scared if I want to do this or want to change direction? And I said, no, I still work for you. So it doesn't, I'm not scared. We've made it through so many horrible, it seemed like end of the world. And we always bounce back. And he's my, I don't want to say partner in crime because we don't do anything illegal, but that is my right. He's my ride or die. My ride or die. I would do anything for Anthony, his family, his daughter, who got her driver's license today.
Go. Good.
That's what he was rushing from to sign in. He took her to go get her driver's license test. So Tony Marie passed. And we just had a big party for her. We worked our butts off to have her Sweet 16 here and make it the most beautiful party that she deserves. And we got her tickets, and Anthony's going to go see Bruno Mars because that's her favorite in Las Vegas. Front and center. A lot of this, but she's worth it. And now we just got to book flights. Can you believe we did everything but the flights? We got to get in there because we're busy. We are busy, but I love him. I love him. There's nothing bad I can say about him, and that's the honest truth. We get on each other's nerves, but I think that's normal. We spend more time together than most people spend with their spouses. So my buddy.
I'm not surprised you said all that. Having known Anthony for a short time on the KISS cruise, we knew that there was
Oh
There's
yeah,
something special about him, eh,
so
Claudio?
special.
And we both
Absolutely.
said it. We need him on the show. We need to get to
Yeah.
know him better.
And
Yeah.
he's so talented. He's so, I know that's the most I've ever heard him touch upon the things he's done and the people he's worked with, et cetera, et cetera. He's just so talented, you know. So, when Evan came, like, who's going to do sound? He said, I am. Who's got the back line? I got the back line. Who's going to do sound? And they were just like, oh, okay. And that's when I think the band saw Anthony as more than just a venue owner. They
Right.
really, really bonded with him, because I went home and he would stay here as late without one word of, are you done? Can we go? Nope, that's not Anthony. He let them rehearse however late they wanted to go, and some nights he's texting me 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. The guys are done. I'm heading home, and I think we made lasting relationships with the guys, because I think they just saw we're just normal, everyday people. We work hard. We're there stacking chairs and sweeping floors with everybody else. And I think they just got a lot of respect, especially for Anthony, because he really did make them sound so good. They sounded amazing. So when they come back, people got to come in more than 120 people.
Absolutely. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Angel. Hope to see you really, really soon. And
I know.
Yeah. And
We
once
have to do
again,
something.
for sure. And my dear friend, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New
Same
Year, guys.
here.
We'll see you soon, okay?
Nice
Take
to
care.
see you. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, man. So what else? What else can we say, man, after what Angel told about, what she said about you, man? Wow, that's, you can tell, man, you're very special. You're a very special human being, man. We're so happy to have you here, man.
But one thing that Angel mentioned, Anthony, was your talent. And like I mentioned in the introduction, Claudia and I were taken aback when we heard you sing on stage on the KISS Cruise. We had no idea. So we found out that you have a band called the Anthony Nino Lane Band, right?
Correct.
So tell us about that.
Okay, well, about 10 years ago, when I actually got married, I used to play Italian music when I was in Hamilton. So before I went into a rock band, I played Italian music, Italian weddings, all that stuff. So I kind of put that behind me. And then about 20 years ago, I recorded some Italian music for when I first got married with my first wife.
Yeah.
And some people locally heard the CD. It's like, man, you should be singing at the Italian festivals. So anyways, I started putting a band together, and I wanted to be different than all the other bands. And so I have a really amazing 6-piece band: violin, sax, guitar, bass, and drums. 5 vocalists. We all sing, but I'm the lead singer.
Wow.
And we do Italian music with a twist. So I can do from Andrea Bocelli, Pavarotti to reggae, ska, rock. And then what we've been doing a lot lately is we do a lot of, I love the Beatles. So we did Hey Jude in Italian. We did like Brown Eyed Girl in Italian. So we take all these songs, and our bass player, Jimmy, does an amazing job in translating them, because you have to choose the proper Italian. And we just completed and released last week. We have a 9-minute. So what happened was 2 years ago, we were in Salt Lake City touring. So we tour all over the States. So I was in Salt Lake City, and we drove from Salt Lake City to Vegas for a 4-day run. And on the Saturday, we were supposed to play at the Italian American Club there, and they didn't solidify the date. So I said to the band, some flew, some drove. I said, why don't we all hang out together in Las Vegas? I'll get us a suite, and let's go out. Because we've been working so hard, because we tour August, September, October are the biggest months for us. So we stay in Vegas, and I took them to Love. Angel helped me get some really good tickets to Love, and I took the band. And when we got back, the keyboard player after 2 months says, I want you to hear something. So he opens up his laptop and he plays all the tracks. He individually recorded everybody's part, everybody's harmony. We learned it. Then Jimmy translated it into Italian, and I just released a week ago 9-minute 40-second medley of all the Beatles songs from Love in Italian.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the recording
awesome,
here and the video, honestly, Pasquale, I'm proud of it, because we really put a lot of time into it. It is excerpts of Beatles videos, modernized with the same feel for each of the songs. So we open up with Because, with all those harmonies. And then we go into Golden Slumbers. And then from Golden Slumbers, we go into Hard Day's Night into Eleanor Rigby. And then there's 3 or 4 more songs. And we do little excerpts of even some of their hits. You'll know them. And so when we put it together, it was a lot of work putting together. And to do that live, 9 minutes, it's almost 9 minutes live, and to know the parts and to play the parts and to sing the parts. Like, people think their parts are easy. They're not. And the harmonies are unbelievable. And I know that when they first recorded it, that was the hardest thing they did, was the harmonies in Because. So we did a really nice job on it. So we just released it. So I really put a lot of time into my Anthony Nino Lane band. I'm really proud of it. So we tour a lot.
Yeah, I would love to listen to that, Anthony. That's if there's a way of getting access to that, that would be awesome.
Yes. We have a YouTube channel, and
Okay.
I'll just go to Anthony Nino Lane Band, and there's going to be probably like 40, 50 videos there.
Wow.
I did the last ones. I really feel good about the album before that. I recorded a live album here at the theater with the string section. It was the band with 9 strings, and I did more operatic stuff. But I don't sing opera like opera. I sing opera like a rock and roll singer.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I can do opera, but I don't call myself, an opera singer like some of these other guys. I don't go out to do that. I really love singing. I mean, I started singing when I was 7. I was on stage at the age of 9 and 10 with all the guys in the band were in their 30s. They were called the Harmony Dance Band. They opened up for like the Ink Spots and the Diamonds in Toronto. I was 10 years old. I made $20 a night. And I started doing original music. Do you know who Danny Lenoir is? So Danny Lenoir is from Hamilton, Ontario. And it's funny, like all these breaks we had that never really blossomed. But so Danny is from Hamilton, Ontario. Him and his brother Bob own Grand Avenue Studios. And he started recording Brian Eno. Do you know who Brian Eno is?
Yeah.
But Brian Eno started working with Danny. And actually, I was such a bad guitar player that Danny played my guitar parts. And so Danny was working with Brian Eno. And they recorded all the groups from Capitol Records were recorded at Grand Avenue Studios back in the 70s. And in order for us to pay for some of the studio time, we started singing the jingles for them because they needed jingle writers and guys to sing it. So that's how we paid for a lot of our studio time. And so Danny actually recorded the second biggest hit for U2.
Oh.
And then he became their 5th member. So Danny Lenoir is like the biggest producer. He produced all of U2 stuff. Then he went on to do Bonnie Raitt. He did Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Oh, wow.
And it goes on and on and on. And here's this guy from Hamilton, Ontario. And now he's one of the biggest producers in the world. Of course, Eno has a name too. And I learned a lot from Danny back then. We got really creative with the vocals. He taught us a lot when we were, 13, 14, 15 in the recording studio. And so that's what we did. So I've been doing this a long time. I love what I do.
So, Anthony, this is so fascinating, man. So you have such a long history, not only with KISS, but with music in general. So, but just for a sec, let's go back into KISS. Mm-hmm. So now that the band has reached the end of the road, there's a lot of KISS-related fan projects, that are being released. And if you could collaborate on any KISS-related project, what would it be and why? What would you like to do? Or if there's something that you see going on with some fans, would you like to be involved and why?
I would be. It's funny. I watch like some of these reels on Facebook, and I can't remember what spokesperson it was talking really negatively about KISS's music.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because thinking about what you just asked me, their hooks are so amazing on a lot of songs. And just like comparing them to Queen, where they have these anthem songs that the people and their fans can relate to and sing to, I would love to do a medley of all those songs that will get the people off their feet. In 6 minutes, you give it to them all right in the face. You just punch them real hard in the face with all these songs so people can realize the hits and the hooks that they wrote. Even the simple guitar lines, some of the guitar lines were so hooky that people underestimated what KISS could do. That's just my feelings.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to tell you, I was working at the age of 13 through 15 at an Italian restaurant in Hamilton, and all the bands would go there and eat. And of course, I was in a band, and I felt horrible because I had to serve these guys, and they would treat me terrible because I was a musician and they were musicians. They were gigging, and I was working at the restaurant serving tables.
Right.
And this was and at that time, it was really getting hard for us to get work because this was the late 70s. And disco came in.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the nightclubs that we played in Hamilton, Toronto, Burlington, Northern Ontario, going into Quebec, like when we did, say Lévis and Quebec City, and all these clubs started going into discos. And so a lot of us lost work because they were disco clubs. And I remember being at work at Valentino's place, and oh my God, I was made for loving you come out.
Right.
And I'm like, you're kidding me. Here we are trying to figure out our place in the music scene. And these guys come up with this song. It's a disco song, really, so to speak. That's an incredible hook. And they made it on the airwaves and killed it. How many rock bands can do that other than them and Queen when Queen did Another One Bites the Dust?
That's
But
right.
who can do that?
Yeah.
But that song was to me far more superior. I love that song. Why? Because I remember when I was 14, I think it was 14 or 14 and a half, going on to 15, and it came out and I hear that on the bass. I'm like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
These guys are brilliant. And they made you believe it. So
It's true.
Honestly, and they made you believe it. And you know what? And it was a huge hit. And even till today, because I remember when Angel went years ago and she showed me pictures and video, when they did that song, the crowd goes crazy over that song. And technically, Pascali, it's a disco song, really.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, and it works. So I just want to share that. But yeah, I tell you, if there was a group of musicians who wanted to get together and do something with the KISS music, there's just so many hooks. And if they're okay, so my vision, you'll probably understand it if you have time and you watch that video of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Just think of the concept and what we did with that, because there was a lot of work put into it to thinking what songs would work together. Mm-hmm. If you did some of those hooks back to back and arrange them properly to fit one into the other, people would go crazy.
That's a great idea, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking that, you know, just for the sake of, if nobody knows KISS or just a kid, you know, and he comes to you and asks you, so show me something, what's KISS? And you show them those 6 minutes, you know, like a medley, everything back to back. You got it, man. So you don't have to listen to a whole album, you know.
It's over. And I'm telling you, and it's over. I mean, I'm actually amazed they never did it, but they don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, because they have so many songs though, because they have so many songs over all their albums and all the years together, because they've been together for so many years, that, you know, to me, if they ever came back and just wanted to do another performance, I'm just saying, that would be a brilliant idea, because their fans would that's something special for the fans.
Yeah.
You're giving them the anthems over all the years together in one song, from the first to the end. Yeah. And I think that would be a brilliant project. That's just my idea.
But you know, that's interesting, because you being a musician, and you mentioned, you know, the hooks, and at the end of the day, you know, behind the makeup and everything, there's the music, okay? There's the songs. So do you think that KISS legacy will continue to inspire new generations of rock fans? Do you think that KISS is so big that it's going to be taken as an influence an inspiration for new rock fans?
It's a very good question. And it's an easy answer because you, Claudio, Pascali, we were all on the cruise together. Did you see all those young KISS fans? Do you see how much that, did you? And I was watching that. And I even turned to Angel a few times, like, look at these little kids.
Yeah.
So are they going to carry it on? 100%. I think there's more excitement in some of the younger KISS fans than when we were young KISS fans.
It's true.
And that is absolutely true. Because, I mean, I like KISS. I'm not going to when I met John, Jerry, and Joe and they started playing this music and they were dressed, I'm like, who are these guys? And then I realized that they were imitating a band called KISS because they just weren't that big yet in Hamilton. And then as they started getting bigger, like I guess, with Beth and all those, the first early albums and songs, and they started getting big, because Canada always was last, some of the areas in Canada, to be honest with you. Other than the one band who really made it in Canada first was the Police. I don't know if you guys know that. They made it in Toronto. And so when I was on the cruise both times, and I'm looking at these kids, I think, you know how kids, they want to be Superman, they want to be Batman, they want to be these different people to save the world. Okay. I think that these young KISS fans feel that they can take over the world being a KISS fan and dressing like them and wearing the makeup. And I really felt that for some of the kids and the excitement waiting for their autographs and waiting for things, we're into it, but the kids were really into it. So the answer to your question, I think that this is the beginning of a new era for KISS. I think it's just going to get even bigger because of the impression that they left with their fans. And because the fans, who are amazing people like we saw on the boat, I think have educated their children in a different fashion than most children today. Just like we're European and we were brought up a lot differently. And you could see the respect of these young kids on the boat. It's a totally different world than some of the kids I see around here. So I think that the KISS legacy is going to last a really long time. Almost Beatles' legacy, to be honest.
Very good point.
Yeah. Now, Anthony, we often mentioned in previous episodes, like, part of being a KISS fan is, owning KISS memorabilia. Why? Because, memorabilia is sort of like memories of our KISS experiences. Do you consider yourself a collector? Do you own any KISS memorabilia?
You know what? I don't, but the memorabilia that I received, I think it means more to me because the memorabilia that I received on KISS Cruise 10 and 11 mean the world to me because I would call Angel on my cell phone when it would work on the ship because I had to buy that plan that still didn't work. And I would call her up in her room and say, oh my God, did you see what we got tonight? Oh my God, did you see what we got tonight? And bringing all those things home, which I just redid my closet and I have them all like in these baskets and stuff. I felt that was personally given to me by them. And that meant more than me than going online and buying something. Now, I know Angel's a crazy KISS fan. And there's some things I probably want to get. What I'd like to get is... I know I have some KISS albums from the past in storage. Next time I go home to Hamilton, I'm going to look to see what I have because I know I have some. And I would like to acquire some of the early ones, maybe talk to the brothers because I know they still live in Hamilton, Jerry, John, or Joe. John went on to become a guitar player in, do you remember, okay, I'm going blank, but they're a rock band almost like a new girl now, Honeymoon Suite. They're another big name in Canada and he became their guitar player.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Life. And I can't think of the band's name, but you would know it. They're pretty big. So anyways, I'm going to reach out to John and see if he's got any albums. But I will keep and I will collect what I have when I got. Actually, I got two of everything because my wife got one. But the robes and the records that they gave us and the pendants that they gave us and the picks that I collected, that will definitely, the drumsticks, I got drumsticks.
Yeah.
In the studio. I'm going to keep it. I got some other stuff here and I'm going to keep because I feel like that was personally given to me on both those cruises. And I don't think I will ever part with those. So those, I'm not a crazy guy go out to buy them, but I'm just kind of honored that I got them because I didn't expect.
Of course. Yeah.
and it's a great feeling to have them.
So, Anthony, let's go deep on this. So you mentioned records, and you must have listened to everything. But do you have a favorite KISS album, and why does it hold a special place in your heart?
I'm not really good at naming all the albums. I'm not going to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
Two songs that I would actually love to do. I mean, one of them, of course, is Beth. I just really, really, really like that song.
Okay.
And I know that was written by Peter. It was written by the drummer, right?
Yeah, Peter. Yeah.
Peter. And Sure Know Something. I really like. I would love to cover that song.
Okay. Okay.
And then, of course, there's a lot of other. I mean, you know, when you're there, you know, you want to walk around. There's so many songs out there. Like I said, there's all the hooks.
Mhm.
Would I want to redo a medley of them? Absolutely. But if I had to do a song that would mean something to me, it would be like Sure Know Something,
Okay.
or Beth. But I like
Okay.
Sure Know Something because it's a nice rock and roll tune. I think it would work with my voice. And it's just to me, it's a really good song.
Have you ever tried to come up with a version?
You know, it's funny you would say that because on the last KISS cruise, okay, so on the first KISS cruise, they did a blues session. Were you on 10, Pasquale?
No.
No.
So I went on 10 and they did a jam session. So, you know, a lot of the KISS songs that I know, I mean, I don't know a lot of them, were used up. So then someone said, well, let's do some blues. So they said, anybody out there play blues? Because this guy played harp. I said, yeah, I you know, so then, you know, Angel.
Mhm.
Put her hand up. I go up there, and I do. I mean, I don't play a lot of blues, but I do love the blues, and you know, I could sing the blues. I mean, I know the blues. Okay, so I go up there. It's just him and I. So now we're getting all these rock musicians coming on stage. Oh my God, I'm sorry, but I'm like, guys, it's like basic bar blues, you know, very simple. And I'm trying to guide them through it, and the harmonica player is trying to show them, and I'm like, okay, so let me show you. So it was like pulling teeth, but we got it together after about a minute or two, and then we jammed, and you know what, that got so many comments after we did it on the internet and stuff like that. So if you Google it, you'll probably find it. And it was like 6 minutes, and it was amazing. So okay, so after that, I said to Angel, well, you know what? We can't do it that bad because Angel plays guitar. So for the following year, I said, why don't we do Sure Know Something? I'll play guitar, I'll do the solos, and Mitch, her husband, could play bass.
That would be awesome.
Well, you know, we put it together. We practiced for a few weeks, but then, you know, you get so busy with work and stuff. Because now, if we're gonna go take a cruise, we have to work our butts off to get it before going on this cruise. So we didn't have time to finish it. Then they didn't do the jam session. We did all that work. So the answer to your question is yes, we tried.
Yes. Okay.
But you know, my computer just went down like yours about a month and a half ago, right when I was mixing down the medley of the Beatles. I lost my whole computer.
Oh.
So my buddy Raul came in, we got a new computer, we updated it, and then of course all the inputs, all the EQs, everything was different. So it took me a long time to remix it. But anyways, with the new upgrade in Pro Tools, I've got all my MIDI and stuff back, and I am going to start. And that might be one of the songs I'm going to start putting down, just track it, just to see what it sounds like.
Wow, nice.
I like that song. I like that song.
Nice. Looking forward to hearing it. So, Anthony, earlier you mentioned that Angel is a big KISS fan. You know, as KISS fans, we've done some pretty crazy things in the name of KISS. What would you say was the craziest thing you've done as a KISS fan?
Go on the cruise.
Yeah.
You know, I've done a lot of crazy things in my life. I just think that experience on both those cruises were a lot of crazy things, because you know, you start to settle down when you have a business and you have a child.
Mhm.
And I do rock out with the band, et cetera, et cetera. But to be on that cruise ship and you know, we partied,
Oh, yeah.
and that I partied. And it was a great experience because I got to just let go and I knew nobody was going to take advantage of us. I knew nothing was going to happen. I had my best friend with me, Angel, and honestly, I drank a lot and we partied a lot. And we got to go watch all those rock bands and just dress. I mean, I dressed up. I wore pajamas to when Paul did the thing. Like I would never do stuff like that. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm a musician and I am a little shy, but it was really nice on the ships to do that. So that really would, unfortunately, that's really the only stories I got on that, because that I got to really let loose because I felt comfortable to do that.
Now, KISS have been around for about, over 50 years now, and they've had so many KISS events, KISS-related events. Was there an event that you missed that you wish you've seen or experienced?
New York.
New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, and after listening to what you guys said, which kind of brought the whole feeling down a little bit, but yeah, because, promoting it like the end of the road and the last thing you're going to do. And after being on those 2 cruises, I kind of felt like I missed out on something that maybe I should have been there, and I mean, I never got the opportunity to, go back with the musicians, that I played with, because some have passed, at a young age, unfortunately. That would be a great feeling. That's why I kind of, I'm a little bummed that I kind of missed that, because that's, if a band ever went through that, which they just did, that's a big thing. I mean, so like again, but Scotty, when you told me your feeling on it, kind of let me down a little bit, but that's a big thing. So I kind of felt like I missed out on something big, and I really wanted to go. I was really trying to get there to New York for that.
But it's interesting because there were so many people that actually kind of share the same kind of opinion of how we lived, how we went through this. But there's some other people who really had a blast, and they really enjoyed those last 2 shows. You could see, people getting up, singing the songs and singing them for the last time. Sometimes, it depends on expectations, but maybe ours were a bit high. But yeah, it's true. If there's one event that maybe you don't want to miss, was that. But Anthony, just to wrap up the show before we let you go, so tell us what's next for Mr. Anthony Lane. So any upcoming future plans? So what are you cooking, man?
So I have this theater, and I manage a theater up in Pittsburgh, California. So I have 2 theaters. So my plate's getting pretty full, and I really like working it where I'm booking the theater and teaching the staff and consulting. And I'm in the process of selling my theater.
Okay.
It was a secret, but now everybody knows. And they make a big thing of it. Not that the business is bad. It's just, 20 years in the nightclub, 22 years in the nightclub, 18 years with this theater. I'm 61, and I look at it 2 ways. I'm 60, and hopefully I live to 80, 85, and that's another 25 years, 20 years. So I want to do something over the next 20 years. Yeah. And what I'd like to do is go back to my music inventory. I have about 380 songs that I recorded with the band over the years, with my original band. We were called Clear Cut in Canada and then Foreign Exchange in the US. I want to go back to some of the songs and redo them with a group of musicians that I'm working with. I want to, we did the video for the Anthony Nino Lane band. When you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot of passion, a lot of work went into that. And I sent it to Italy. When I put it on social media, I tasted it to all the markets. We got about 700 views in the first week, which is great. And I just want to get a feel. And Angel's my contact on my website, and we've got like 32 calls from Italy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, honest to God. And I speak really good, but not good enough. I don't feel that I would speak good enough to represent, and I don't want to represent myself. So I'm working on getting someone to handle all that, see what the phone calls are all about. And then there's a band that they're really big in Calabria with the Calabrese sound. And we played with them in Salt Lake City. Oh. And they love us to death, and they're really great guys. And they're like, when are you coming to Calabria? And anyways, they're playing my dad's hometown in Calabria. They played 2 years ago, and they might be going back this year. And if they do go back this year, they asked if we would open for them.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm planning on is to see if I can do 4 dates in Calabria, 3 in Calabria, 1 in Sicily, because Pittsburgh, California, sister city is Isla de Femina out of Sicily. They're sister cities. They saw us at the Italian festival this past year. They fell in love with us, and they saw me in Reno. So they want to bring us to Sicily. Then I'd like to take the band there and then go to England for 4 or 5 days so we can experience that together as a band. And if I can put it together financially, we would probably record 1 or 2 songs at Abbey Road Studios, which would
Holy moly, man.
wow.
What
and
a
you
good,
know, and you know what? It's not as expensive as you think.
wow.
You know, and because I already called, and I said if we do a 2-day session, 1 day recording because we're pretty fast, we'll put everything together here, and then we'll go there and lay it down. And I think it would be a great experience for the band, and you know, and a great experience for me.
Of course, man.
I want
What
to
a
start
dream.
thinking. I want to start thinking of me a little bit, and you know, that came from having Angel as a friend because I work with a lot of people, and a lot of bands. I produce a lot of bands, and Angel goes, you know, you put so much time and effort into everybody but yourself. And that's what really started moving the Anthony Nino Lane band up, because I started doing events for me and building events and putting the band together with the production and the screens and the lighting and the whole thing. So yeah, so I really want to get back in both my Italian music, and I want to start re-recording some of the rock songs. I think out of the 300 songs, I probably have maybe, that I co-wrote with the other members, I would say maybe 35 songs that I think are big hits.
Nice.
So I want to record them, and not for me. I want to record them, and I want to get them out to publishing houses to see if somebody will record my music. And that's what I want to do next.
You know, Anthony, it's really ironic. We talked about meeting KISS fans, and it's the KISS fan experience is almost more important than the band. But the problem with the KISS fan experience, it's the entire experience, but we don't get to really talk to the fans and get to know the fans. That's why it's so important that we had you on the show to get to know you better. Because like Angel was saying, you are a special person. We saw that on the ship, and it was important for both of us to get to know you better. And we tried to have you on the show several times. We had IT issues last week. Glad to have you on the show this week. And it was a fantastic hour or so. So informative, so interesting. You're such a passionate person, such an amazing person. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and to help us get to know you better.
Thank you, Pasquale. Thank you guys for keeping this music alive and music alive. And I'm not just saying this, but I'm going to tell you, and Angel can second this, being on those cruises is one big reason why I'm going to proceed in what I'm doing.
Of course, yeah.
It really, and I'm not just saying that, to watch them play at their age and keep playing. And then you think, age is just a number. It really is. And I was re-inspired. I'm like, you know what? I should be doing this again. And I just think it was a great experience. And I think the people that come out of it, like yourselves, it's just a great bunch of people. We're really lucky to have each other, to be honest with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? And just I'm gonna echo what Bas was saying. So nice to see you again, man. So it could be so awesome to kind of cross paths, in person and face to face, and have something to eat together, something to drink. This episode was truly what Bas just said. So energizing, so getting to know you, getting all the info, all the artistic background that you have, and it makes us so happy knowing that you have plenty of plans, and the music will never stop. It's in your heart, and you keep it up and you keep going. So again, thank you for your time, Anthony. This been truly awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you guys have a wonderful new year. It's going to be a great year.
Oh yeah.
And we may surprise you. I'm going to call you up and say, Pascal, we're going to take you up on that to Montreal, and we can enjoy a really nice dinner in Montreal together.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
That would be a dream.
Can you imagine the excitement at the table?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So thanks again, my friend, and once again, Happy New Year.
Thank you, and Happy New Year. Okay, Pascali, and
Happy holidays, man.
Claudio.
Thank you so much.
Care, all right.
Thank you.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.
To the KISS Army, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please feel free to message us at talktome@kissarmynationpodcast.com. We are looking forward to a lot more discussions and amazing guests on our show for 2025. Until then, remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Podomatic, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. This is about you, so please like and subscribe to support the amazing guests we have on the show. See you soon, KISS Army.